his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here, am I on? If somebody responds.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. For the next 2 hours in radio excellence, we'll try to bring this to you with the MLB Divisional Playoffs on tap, including the Braves-Phillies game, which is coming up right after the show right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I thought we'd break out a baseball list or two today for our top 10. I mean, how about this? How about the top 10 winningest teams in Major League Baseball since the turn of the century? This century, okay? So the last 22 years or so. The top 10 winningest baseball teams. There's some surprises in there. All right, we'll get to that a little bit later on. And this is interesting. Exactly half of the teams in Major League Baseball have won the World Series since 2000. 15 out of the 30 teams in Major League Baseball have a World Series win in this century, with the Red Sox winning the most at 4, followed by the Giants with 3, the Cardinals and Yankees with 2 each. Nobody else has multiple titles. Now, ironically, the NFL is thought of as the league of parity. You know how we always say, like, my God, you start a baseball season and there's only 5 teams that can win the World Series. But the NFL, I mean, this is the league of parity. This is the league where people come out of nowhere, the NFL. But ironically, only 13 of the 32 teams in the NFL have won a Super Bowl since 2000, with the Patriots winning 6 of them, and the Steelers and the Bucs and the Giants winning 2. So we'll get to those numbers. Of course, it is Tennessee week for Alabama as well, the most anticipated game in this series in the last 15 years. And we have plenty on that as well. Plus, what a game in Kansas City last night, as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs came back from down 17-0 to beat the Raiders 30-29 in a nuts game with some nuts calls by both coaches and officials as well. We'll hit that. If you know what you want to talk about, phone lines are open at 256-576-4977. You can also text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are also on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there. You can watch it on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV. Follow us on the Twitch, like and subscribe on the YouTube, and you'll get notifications. Go to 977ESPN.com, get links to all of that, and while you're at it, get both of our apps. Get the Zone and the Blitz, because there you can find links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4 as well, our alternate streaming channels for more great programming, and you are going to need that. With all the high school football games and all the college football games and the Army on the Blitz and Alabama on the Zone and the Major League Baseball playoffs going on, you're going to want to have that. Okay? Because there are going to be times where the Braves are going to be over there on one of those streams. There are going to be times when other Major League Baseball playoff games are going to be on the Blitz, to be honest with you. Okay? So you're going to want to have all of our stuff so that you can find whatever it is that you're looking for. And you're going to want to follow us on the Twitter and on the Facebook. And our social media guys will keep you posted as to where certain things are. All right? So get everything. Blitz app, Zone app, the whole shooting match. Now coming up on Friday night, the playoff-bound Buckhorn Bucks host Fort Payne in the final regional game of the season in Newmarket. They can improve their playoff seeding against a really good Wildcats team that comes in 6-1. I'll be on that game. John McGough will be joining me. Madison Academy is at Brindley Mountain off another big win. Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird are on that one. And Randolph is now 6-1. And they'll put that on the line at New Hope. Austin Coletti, Drew DeArmond will have that one for you on Zone 3. And as always, the Woody Anderson Ford North Alabama Scoreboard Show with Scott Tyson will begin on the Blitz at 8:30 and then move to the air after the Buckhorn game. And Scott does a great job of pulling in sound from multiple games when he gets that thing started on the Blitz. He'll be pulling in sound from games not only right here, but also out of the Florence region as well. So you can hear all of that stuff. Now, coming up in a few minutes, we're going to head to the Plains with Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer. We'll get his thoughts on where Auburn goes from here, heading into Ole Miss as a 15-point underdog. And at the top of the 11, the voice of the Vols, Bob Kessling, will join us to talk about what is different about this Tennessee team and what may happen on Saturday. Look, I've always said it. The SEC is a better place with a good team in Knoxville. No matter how much you hate Tennessee, that's the team you love to hate. It's better when there is a good team in Knoxville. I mean, look, as much as some of you Alabama fans love murder ball, this is kind of nice. I mean, to have a game like this right in the middle of the season where there's drama, it's kind of nice. Where maybe the result is in doubt, maybe. It's kind of nice. There was drama last week with A&M in town and a backup quarterback going. There will be drama when the Tide goes to Oxford. There might even be some drama when State comes to Tuscaloosa. Love it. Love it. Baseball playoffs. 4 games on tap today. It is absolutely glorious. Do not be a snob and say, it's a football season. There are no football games today. Alabama's not playing today. Auburn's not playing today. Tennessee's not playing today. The Titans aren't playing today. There's no Tuesday night football game. I don't even think there's Maction tonight. Pretty sure. There's no high school games tonight. Don't be a snob. 4 baseball games on tap today, including the Braves, who will kick it off against the Phillies, and that game will be heard right here immediately following the show. And it's always controversial here at the studios. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's always a controversy here in the studios. It's always controversial as to should we air the baseball game or should we air more chatter about what's going on in football, specifically college football. We decided the game is the thing. All right, we decided that for this afternoon, the game is the thing. All right? Now, tomorrow, we'll have the game at 3:30 as well on the air. And at 5 o'clock, when the drive comes, the game will move over to one of our streams. And you'll be able to listen to the rest of the game there. So that's the route we're taking on this thing. Aaron Judge's contract is going to dominate the offseason and all of the conversation. When the Yankees go tonight, they're just going to be talking about it ad nauseum about Aaron Judge and his contract and what is going to happen there. Look, I think they could have done. He turned down 7 years and $213 million before the season. He wanted more years. I think they could have got it done for like $250 million. But how do you go more than, say, 8 years? Dude's 30. Do you want to have an Albert Pujols situation on your hands? He is 30 years old right now. Yes, he's in great shape. But when he's 38, do you want to be paying him $40 million a year for 16 home runs? Maybe it's going to take, I'll tell you what, right now, got to give him $320 million. Could have had him for $250. You offered him $213. Maybe it's going to take $320 million, which is $40 million a year over 8 years. I would go 8 years, $320 million. I think it would get it done. It cost the Yankees $100 to $150 million to play poker with this guy. There's a lot of talk about the Giants, his hometown Giants, being in the mix. Giants aren't going to spend that kind of money, I don't think. I don't think it's going to happen. All right, phone lines are open if you want to jump in. You could do that. I don't think we announced yesterday. We might have dropped the ball on this, but I don't think we announced yesterday that Keith, the Michigan fan, hit the Friday trifecta. He had all 4 aspects of the Friday trifecta. So he got on the big board with 2 points, and he wins the Champy's Chicken this week. So Keith, the Michigan fan. Grizz, do you have Keith's information? Probably not, because I don't know what he's won anything before. So Keith, the Michigan fan, you got to call in and give us your information so we can hook you up with the Champy's Chicken. Now, Grim, who is our leader, Grim hit the first 3. He hit the trifecta portion of the Friday trifecta, and so he picked up 1 more point on the big board. So good job by Grim. But he gets nothing but 1 point because Keith, the Michigan fan, hit it all. One of the few guys that had the Falcons plus the 10 points. That was the key to that deal. All right, over there in that little glass booth with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, wearing a very cool Atlanta Braves champions. This is World Series champions. Is that what it says? I can't see it. An Atlanta Braves World Series champions hoodie, which is really nice. It is really nice. I got to get me a Yankee one of those for one of the 27 years that they won the championship. I think it's sweet. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today. What's that? Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
What you gripping about today?
Oh my goodness, I'm so no, I'm not gripping. I'm so excited. I'm ecstatic right now. I mean, I would be wearing my Philly suck shirt right now if it wasn't meeting day. I tried to wear at least nicer clothes when we have meeting day.
And let me say this about that. I am cognizant of the fact that our meeting will begin about first pitch.
Yeah.
We'll
have it on the radio.
Brutal. But there ain't going to be no radio in our meeting. But I am extremely cognizant of that fact. And I think that there is 1, you, 2, Moulton, 3, the Armin, 4, me, 5, Bailey, I think there's at least 5 of us. No, Bailey's not interested? No?
I don't think so. I'm getting a no from behind.
Honcho doesn't care. Okay? He'll be over there listening to the replay.
He's wearing orange right now.
He's going to be just listening to the replay of the Bob Kessling interview over and over and over again. There's at least 5 of us in the meeting. Not the guy in the other room through the wall. He listens through the wall. He can care less. Right? He don't care. There'll be at least 5 of us in the meeting that are going to be gripping a little bit and very much interested in the meeting. So I will say this. I promise.
It'll be a short meeting.
I will be a short meeting. I promise I'll get us in and out of that meeting as quickly as possible.
Unless people are eating and,
Don't be eating. Don't be distracting me. We got about 6 things on the agenda. Quick ones.
Not
quickies.
bad. Not bad.
And I mean,
Not
it
bad.
can be like bang, bang, bang. And if y'all a bunch of yes men.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go Braves.
Hey, go Braves. Just answer go Braves. But I swear to God, if somebody's watching that game on their phone during the meeting, okay? Now,
earpiece in.
I'm encouraging our listeners who are at work to listen to the game on our app or over the air or on their computer while they're at work. But the game starts at lunchtime. So for an hour, you can have it on. Look, you put the headphones in.
Yeah.
Plug in your computer. You keep doing your work. Now, let me just say this. If you're working on the Arsenal and you're in charge of missile defense or, I don't know, some kind of guided missile system or something.
Secret lab out there.
Secret lab. Look, please, don't listen to the game. Focus on what the hell you're trying to do, okay? Don't listen to the game.
Doctors, too, downtown.
If you are doing surgery, if you're Dr. John Greco and you're doing surgery at TOC Sports, now, you know what? Some of those guys, now, you know, they always have,
it might put them in a zone.
They have a playlist. You know, they always have a playlist. You know, surgeons, a lot of surgeons, they like to listen to music.
Yeah.
And they start my playlist, and they like to listen to music. If you want to listen to music, that's fine, but I don't think you can listen to a game. Because a game you got to kind of focus on and stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Start moving around.
Right. I don't want you like cutting a little extra. You're waiting. It's a 3-2 pitch, and the next thing you know, my incision is an extra 6 inches. So don't. If you're doing surgery.
Cutting hair.
I think cutting hair.
Because you might mess up. You never know. You might be like, oh, no, and then. Even the best.
All right, so barbers, surgeons.
Those three people.
And people working on the Arsenal.
Probably construction workers, too. But, that's the thing.
Construction workers.
Yeah, because when I used to do stuff, I'd have ESPN rolling the whole time.
Yeah.
I had us the entire time I was working.
Just listen to the game. All right, just tune it in.
I can't wait.
We will not be listening to the game.
No.
In our meeting. We can't. We can't do it. It's a
Unless
meeting.
I have a secret earpiece in.
Don't have a secret earpiece in.
I won't.
We'll get you out of there.
Bluetooth headset is at home.
We'll get you out of there quick. You'll get your notifications inning by inning. It's going to be no score.
It'll be on the air, so we don't want to hear
It'll
complaints.
be no score through three innings. So, we'll be fine. Let me get Brandon in here. Brandon, what's going on?
The World Series last year, when the Braves failed to win the game at home,
yeah,
there was a Waffle House cook, I want to say in Marietta, that threw the flipper and busted the glass in the store.
Oh, really?
On Facebook. So they might want to keep the Waffle House cooks away from the grill as well.
I saw on Brown's Twitter that a guy had a brand new 60-inch flat screen TV, and he threw a beer glass at it when Cade York missed the field goal to win the game against the Chargers. He fired a glass at the TV and shattered his week-old 60-inch flat screen TV into a million pieces.
I've not done that, but my wife has seen me get animated, and she's came over and took my shoes off, and I look up and all the remote controls are missing, and she's sitting over there looking at me. She's like, I'm trying to save you from yourself, so I kind of understand. I've got mad and, bashed my fist down and broke a remote on the end table, so you have to
our TV, our game-watching TV is in our family room, which has a double doors that go into our master bedroom. And so when they lined up to kick the field goal to win the game, my sons always come over, we watch the game together. My son, my oldest son, Joe, he was not there when the game started. It was an unusual situation. He wasn't there when the game started, and the Browns were up 14-0. They scored 2 touchdowns and went up 14-0, and I texted him and told him, do not come here. Stay wherever you're at, because the Browns were up 14-0. Do not come here. So he didn't come. But the rest of us, we all stood up. We all got out of our chairs and stood in front of the TV as if that somehow was going to affect the field goal.
It does.
It does. So we all stood in front of it. He kicked it, and as soon as it started going, my one son grabbed my shoulder, and as soon as the ball started fading to the right side and he was shanking it, I shot right through the double doors and into my master bath and went to the bathroom. I just didn't even say a word. I didn't do anything. Ball hadn't hit the ground yet. I just went right through, the doors. It was like all in one fell swoop. Jumped out of the chair, kick is missed, kept walking through the double doors and into my barn, and it started working on my fishing tackle. So.
Well, we stayed at Lurleen Park for the game last week, and I'm in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, outside Knoxville for the game this week. We're staying all week with the camper. And there were some guys, I told Scott and Drew about this, that showed up at Lurleen with tents.
Yeah.
And slept on the ground, no heat, no nothing for the game. And they were cold. And they drank a whole lot to stay warm. Well, on Saturday, one of them is sitting in the chair about 3:30, and he is passed out with a bag of potato chips in his lap. And the ducks are coming up eating the potato chips out of his bag.
That's funny.
And they wake him up, and they take off with his bag, and he runs and jumps in the lake after him over his bag of potato chips. I laid down on the ground. That was the greatest entertainment. I felt bad for him.
Where were you on the final play of the Alabama A&M game?
I was on Section A, row 44, seats 11 through 14.
Was Chris Stewart right? He said it was the loudest he had ever heard the stadium. How bad was it?
Oh, it was really loud. It was really loud, but it was very disappointing to me, mostly during the game. I thought it was way too quiet.
Really?
Yes, my section was yelling on every play on defense for them, and we were actually talking about how disappointed we were that it wasn't raucous enough. And I would like to go find whoever does the music for Alabama and throw them out that window.
Really?
I am sick of the old hip-hop.
Yes.
Give me something. Give me some 1,000-foot crutch. Fire it up. Give me something that's got some get up to it.
You don't love Mr. Brightside?
I heard a little bit of that nonsense. I was my two of my sons were over, and I moved from the sitting back in the chair, in my leather chair, to sitting up on the edge and just looking at it, and I had in my mind, I was coming up with all of the things that I would have to say about that loss, and then it was a sense of relief. That was the biggest thing for me in that one. It was an unbelievable sense of relief when it happened. By the way, the loudest I ever heard Bryant-Denny Stadium, for me, the loudest I ever heard it was Rocky Stop. When Roman Harper hit him and hammered a guy at the 6-yard line or whatever, and he fumbled the ball through the end zone, the 6-3 game, that was the loudest I have ever heard that place. I mean, it was literally, I felt like it was shaking. I was shaking.
I'd have to say the Alabama-Arkansas game, 2007, with the late touchdown, the back of the end zone. I've never felt the stadium, because I was up top in the new section at the time.
It was new at the time.
Yeah, and then the next year I was at the Alabama.
I was on the field when that play
same
happened.
year I was at Alabama, Tennessee. 41-17.
Oh, the book game?
I went to
the
59-0 Kenny Hill game.
Yeah.
A&M. And that one was pretty raucous because the more Alabama scored and the worse it got, people were screaming, "Kill Kenny!" And we really enjoyed that. I was.
But then everybody left. I mean, after a while, everybody left. You know,
it was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm up here at this campground at River Edge Campground in Pigeon Forge, and you got Tennessee fans coming out of the woodwork everywhere. And I'm already talking trash to them. They were running their mouth last night.
So annoying. On Twitter, Tennessee Twitter is the most annoying thing. Honcho's not bad, but most and like guys like that are our friends like Tennessee Jeff and guys like that. They're reasonable, but some of the people on Twitter, I mean, the Tennessee fans could be so obnoxious. Now here's my biggest problem. Not really a problem, but my pastor is from Dayton, Tennessee, on Lake Chickamauga, and he's a really big Tennessee fan, big-time Tennessee fan, 40, 41, 42, about 42 years old. Sometimes he has a Tennessee golf shirt on from the pulpit. I mean, he'll be up there, and he'll have a Power T, shirt on. So Sunday at church, I intentionally wore an Alabama jacket. And he looked right at me. I come walking in. He knows who I am. And I come walking in, and what I do, I walked into the gym, grab a cup of coffee before church. He comes walking right up to me. I was stunned he didn't have any Tennessee gear on. And he saw it, and then a couple other people came over and I go, "We didn't know you were an Alabama fan." And I just wanted him to know. And he had to sit, and I sit in about the fourth row on an aisle seat, and he had to look at me the whole service with my Alabama jacket on. So
love it.
It's going to be a problem, though. Well, because how this Sunday goes is going to be how that game goes. I honestly believe that. How church is going to be. Yeah.
I feel like if Alabama can get the ball, they need to take the ball. Don't give Tennessee more possession than you have to. That's the first thing I'm doing. The second thing I'm doing is Isaiah Bond and these guys that can really run. There's going to be a lot of go routes in this game. I'm going hard after that secondary. Just drilling it to them. We're going, and going.
Yeah.
Whether we can run the ball against them, we'll find out. But what I don't want to do is line up and keep running into the middle of the pile.
No, but I think they will. I think you do need to commit to it, and I think they will run the ball, and I think you need to do that to shorten the game. Thanks for the call, Brandon. It's a good job by you. Punting sometimes is not going to be a bad thing. Every possession has to end in a kick. All right? So whether it's an extra point or a field goal or a punt, every possession has to end in a kick. And it's okay to punt. It's okay to take some time off the clock. It's okay to run the ball and then try to run the ball again. It's okay. With or without Bryce Young. It's okay. All right, it's okay to take a break now. And when we come back, Justin Ferguson will join us from the Auburn Observer next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I have a big head, and you don't have to have the brain the size of mine to know that you can save thousands at University Kia.
Right now, drive home a sporty, new 2022 Kia Forte for only $179 per month. Only at University Kia.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for a 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-99-BET-US and get
Parkway and Drake behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon, maybe a slight increase in cloud cover as we head into the evening. Temperatures climbing consistently into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. A couple of scattered showers are going to be possible through Wednesday afternoon. The best opportunity for rain is going to come Wednesday night and then through the earliest hours of Thursday morning. Upper 70s on Wednesday, mid and upper 70s on Thursday. Much cooler as we head into Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
And this segment of the Thom Abraham Show brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. You can lock in a rate right now on a refinance or get yourself pre-approved so that when you are out there shopping to buy that home, still very competitive out there to buy, you'll have that opportunity to get your offer accepted a little sooner. It's more attractive when you're pre-approved, not pre-qualified. Everybody gets pre-qualified, but when you're pre-approved, it's more attractive to the seller, and you got a better chance of getting your deal accepted because you're ready to close. You say, look, we're ready to close. You want to close this afternoon? I'm ready to close. I'm pre-approved. I'm ready to go. So that's the way it works with North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hammaker and his crew, they do such a tremendous job, very involved in the community. We appreciate everything that they do for us in the community as well, helping us bring you Army football and also high school football and everything that they have done to support the Thom Abraham Show as well. All right, joining us now on the West Neighbors Hotline, a guy that does a tremendous job covering all things Auburn, as difficult as that may be on some levels right now. There's a lot of information there, certainly. And it's Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer. Ferg, welcome back. How are you?
No, I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It seems unfair, but it just seems the way it is. I tweeted this out immediately after the game on Saturday. It seems like in the aftermath of these things, the next step is checking Twitter, checking social media on a regular basis throughout the week, looking for Brian Harsin news, right? Looking to hear something that might happen in that situation. I mean, it's sad, but it's true, right? That's kind of what we're left with.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Sunday morning came and went with no news on Brian Harsin, it looked like Auburn was going to stick to it and have him coach at least this weekend against Ole Miss. Last few weeks I heard if Auburn was most likely if Auburn was going to make a move in season, if they were going to fire Brian Harsin in season, which I don't think it's guaranteed, just because of the way Auburn's kind of done things in the past. But if they're going to make a move in season, it would most likely come after this Ole Miss game. Auburn's got an off week next week, give you time to get the interim set up, get that extra time to get ready, and then you get a home game against Arkansas here at the end of the month. That you can, see if you can get a lift, from there. But yeah, I mean, when you get pasted by Georgia like they did on Saturday, it's always something where you have to just keep your eye on everything. But more of the buzz around here says, well, if it's going to happen in the season, it most likely happens after the off week. And so far that's held up.
What's the latest you're hearing as far as the athletic director situation? Because it's almost as if, you'd want that new athletic director involved in this.
Yeah.
Maybe not involved in letting one guy go, but definitely involved in hiring the new guy.
Yeah, I think Auburn is wanting to get closer to an announcement. I've heard of two names that have been well connected to this job at this point. One of them is the current interim, Rich McGlynn. And Rich McGlynn, if you don't know him, he has held a position at Auburn for quite a while now. Was big in Auburn with compliance over the last decade plus. Really known around here for his work in navigating the Cam Newton situation and navigating the Bruce Pearl and FBI Chuck Person situation. Very well respected at Auburn. Has been an administrator for a lot of sports that have done very well at Auburn. And it seems like he's going to be a candidate to get the permanent job moving forward. But if it goes to the outside, you were looking at the name you've heard the most over the last few weeks has been John Hartwell, who is the Utah State AD. He comes in with experience. He was the AD at Troy, had a very successful run as Troy's AD several years ago. Worked at Ole Miss in the past. He didn't go to Auburn. He's from Mobile. Both of his parents went to Auburn, though. He's got really deep family connections to Auburn. And he's been a really popular name as somebody that, would make a lot of sense, would check a lot of boxes, as somebody who knows the SEC, knows Auburn, and knows kind of this area, and has been somebody that, has been pretty well regarded in college athletics. So that seems to be the two other options. If more names come up or if, any more buzz kind of pops up, we'll see. But those have been the two names that have been focused on. And, yeah, I agree. I think Auburn, in a best-case scenario, would like to have a permanent AD in place here in the next month or so, and so that they want to make a decision on Brian Harsin at the end of the season or, the next move, who the next head coach would be for the coaching carousel in most likely December. They would already have somebody in place. Very similar to, I think, how Georgia Tech's trying to do things, and also very similar to how Miami did it last year with Mario Cristobal and Dan Radicavich.
Well, and that's the other part of it, right, is that is immediately what fans will do is speculate, who is he connected to? Who are the guys that he is connected to that would make sense potentially as, okay, if they hire this guy as the AD, this is who he might be bringing in. So who is he connected to?
Yeah, it's a great question because, at Troy, he was known for, Neil Brown moved. Utah State, he hired Blake Anderson.
Sure.
He was around at Ole Miss just for a few months when Hugh Freeze was involved.
Yeah.
There. So, that's going to be something that people are going to play up. But, yeah, I think it is going to be kind of a wild card there because I think, you're probably going to see a situation, I think, for Auburn. If they move on from Brian Harsin, I think the next guy for Auburn, I think you're going to see, take a checklist of three big things here. It's no Auburn, no the SEC, and no recruiting at a high level. I think you got to have at least two of those three to check off. And so it'll be interesting because I think this is, if they go with a guy like Hartwell or if they stay internal and have somebody like, McGlynn or, go with another person who has Auburn connections. I think the big fit moving forward is going to be, hey, we went outside the box, and the AD and the president that hired the AD and the AD who hired the head coach and Brian Harsin, they went outside the box and it didn't work. I think there's going to be a concerted effort for Auburn moving forward, whether it's their AD or their next head football coach, and they did this with their presidential search and getting some guy from within. You got to at least know Auburn in this area, this conference, what it takes to succeed here. So I think that's going to be kind of the through line from your next head coach candidates.
Which would make Matt Rule outside the box, and they don't want to go outside the box. It was interesting to see, of course, when that went down when he was let go by Carolina. He had great success at Baylor immediately and at Temple. Immediately, a bunch of people said, has Auburn been in touch with Matt Rule yet? And then you saw the next wave of people jumping in and said, please, Auburn, don't hire Matt Rule. What's your take on Matt Rule? Because he's a guy with all of the jobs that are going to be open, and this is going to be a very active hiring season, coaching carousel season in college football. He's going to get he's going to have his choice of a couple of prime jobs, I believe. But what's your take on Matt Rule?
Yeah, my thing on Matt Rule is, he definitely did a really good job at Baylor and at Temple. Those are both tough situations that he stepped into. Temple was terrible. Baylor was coming off the Art Briles scandal, and he did well there. My concern or my pushback to Matt Rule to Auburn would immediately be, okay, can he recruit at this level? Because I think the next head coach at Auburn is going to have to do a whole lot of work in recruiting, especially in the Southeast, in this area, because Auburn's roster is going to take a step back next year because they're going to lose NFL talent. They have not recruited well the last couple of cycles. They're probably not going to have a great recruiting class this year as things are trending right now. So it's just, do you have the recruiting chops to do it? To me, Matt Rule, strikes me as like a Brian Harsin type, like other people where it's like team building, program, culture, all this stuff that looks great on paper and has been successful elsewhere. I mean, Harsin was very successful at Boise State before he came to Auburn. But, especially coming off of an NFL job where it didn't work out for him, I just, I don't know the fit. I don't know if the fit is ideal for a guy like Matt Rule to come to Auburn. Instead, I think there's some places that are in some really tough spots like Arizona State or Colorado or some of these other jobs where
Nebraska.
You could realistically say, you realistically could say, I don't have to recruit at an elite level to contend in these conferences, and that may make more sense for Matt Rule. For Auburn, the next guy, you're going to have to make up a lot of ground in recruiting because, that's the lifeblood of SEC football.
Doesn't it just feel like this is all pointing towards Hugh Freeze, one way or the other? I mean, it just feels like that. I don't know if he's still toxic. I don't know if he'll always be toxic. If he wasn't toxic, well, he wouldn't be at Liberty if he wasn't toxic. But it feels like in a way, because all those things that you're talking about, he recruited at a high level, cheated, but he recruited at a high level at Ole Miss. He won at Ole Miss, beat Alabama at Ole Miss. He did all of those things. It feels like it's Hugh Freeze. To me, I'd feel like I'd have to take a shower after every press conference. But it would be, I don't know. It just seems like it's going in that direction. No?
It'll be interesting because I know there are people around Auburn who have talked about Hugh Freeze, and I know there are people around Auburn who said they don't want anything to do with Hugh Freeze.
Right.
I also think the other thing to keep in mind here is that unlike the last time Auburn had a coaching search, Hugh Freeze is not as hot of a name. He might be hot at Auburn, but it's not you're not hearing him getting lined up at these other places. Look at Liberty right now. They're not necessarily lighting the world on fire in the post Malik Willis era. So the buzz might not be there. And I think you could, if you're Auburn, if you want to get guys that can, know what it takes to win in the SEC, know what it takes to recruit at a high level, I think there are other options there that besides Freeze, but we'll see. We'll see. And I guess a lot of this is going to come down to who the next AD is and kind of the connections there.
Yeah. Yesterday, Justin Ferguson with us from the Auburn Observer talking some Auburn football here. Yesterday, John Samuel Shanker told us about the fake punt. It was there. Look, I was a special teams coordinator in college, and it was always there. I always told my head coach, it's there. I mean, it's there. My God, they're giving it to us. And often, more times than not, the answer was always, okay, fine, let's kick it. All right, it's a tie game. They're not moving the ball much against us right now. Let's kick it. And in that particular case, I think up until that point, Georgia had 57 yards of offense on 14 or 15 plays. They had a missed field goal. Other than that, they're not moving the ball. It's a 0-0 game. You're on your own 34-yard line. The last thing you want to do is let them breathe, let the crowd back in the game, let them score, and the route is on right then and there. I just thought it was a incredibly desperate call. John Samuel said it was there. We just didn't execute it. What was your take on when you saw it? I mean, could you believe it even when you saw it happening? Like, you got to be kidding me. Why'd you just give it to him?
Yeah, situationally, I thought that was a crazy call to me, just because of the things you said. You're in your own territory. You got to get a good chunk of yards. It wasn't like it was just a short yardage play. You got to get a good chunk of yards. If you do convert it, you're still in your own territory. So it's not like you're guaranteeing a scoring opportunity immediately off of that. And, yeah, your defense has been playing well. Your punt coverage team has done excellently. Now, obviously, Ladd McConkey breaks a few tackles and gets a big return on the next time Auburn punts. But in defense of John Samuel Shanker, he's right. He's 100% right. You go back and watch that play. everybody does their job except they miss one-on-one matchup,
right?
And he gets tackled. Now, here's the problem. There is the one-on-one matchup is between a guy who's playing protector who is a reserve offensive lineman, and Auburn's had their issues consistently blocking this season, no matter who's been put out there, against an all-SEC linebacker, and that ended the way that you might have expected there. So yeah. It could have been there. It could have been a play, but, man, that is such a risk to bank on everything executing correctly for an Auburn team that at the line of scrimmage is just not executing correctly, consistently. So, yeah, it was a tough – it was a gamble, it was a risk, and it backfired pretty spectacularly.
So now they go to Oxford. They are 15-point underdogs there, but in reality – I mean, they're 13-2 in Oxford. I mean, they win. They beat Ole Miss all the time. They beat Ole Miss in Oxford. So this maybe that adds even more pressure, but this is an Ole Miss team that runs the ball very, very well, best in the SEC or near the top of the SEC, 5.5 yards a carry. Auburn's not running the ball real well. Auburn defends it okay, but this is a pretty loaded Ole Miss team. What do they need to do? What can Auburn do to do what they always do, which is win in Oxford, but this time it would be a major upset?
Yeah, it's going to have to come down to Auburn's defense making huge plays at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you got to be able to limit Ole Miss's run game. Everything kind of flows out of that. Quinshon Judkins, Zach Evans, even Jackson Dart to an extent.
Yeah.
They're going to run a lot of RPO stuff. They're going to try to hammer you on the ground. Auburn has been solid at run stopping this year, but it's still like the big run that Stetson Bennett had against Auburn on Saturday. Every now and then they just give up these big plays on the ground where guys are out of position, bad fit, out of alignment, and so you got to cut all that out against a team like Ole Miss. And then on offense, I think Ole Miss's defense has gotten a lot better. This is a top 20 defense in college football this season. Now they haven't played a ton of great teams outside of Kentucky, but they have played pretty well. In that they've taken a major step up on the defensive side of the football. So for Auburn, it's just, in the past, Auburn has been able to win at the line of scrimmage against Ole Miss, and that's kind of been the thing. It's like you've got better athletes, you got more talent up front, and it shows. I think defensive front, if everybody's healthy, Auburn could, make an impact there and try to keep this a low-scoring, kind of grinded-out game, kind of like Ole Miss and Kentucky was a few weeks ago. But it's going to come down to, can Auburn's offense make enough plays? And right now, it's just hard to see that happening on a consistent basis. If it's not a big chunk play that happens out of nowhere or guys breaking tackles, Auburn's having a hard time moving the ball consistently. So, it's going to have to be a defense low-scoring game, and then hopefully you can pop enough plays on offense to make it work. But, it's easier said than done against an Ole Miss team that is a lot better at the line of scrimmage than they were last year and a lot better on defense.
He always does a tremendous job. Justin Ferguson is his name. They've got a podcast there at the Auburn Observer Podcast, the auburnobserver.com. Everything you need to know. Gets ready for basketball. They've got that covered as well, as well as everything else at the Auburn Observer. Ferg, I appreciate you so much. Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, Tom.
All right, thank you. Spent half of that interview talking about who's the next coach at Auburn. It was as if it's over, as if the trigger's been pulled.
Remember, A.J. McCarron has already called this. I mean, he has sources, that have already told him that it's that 3 weeks ago it's over.
Done. Bye week coming up. Done. What if they beat Ole Miss? They go in there and they upset Ole Miss. You can't fire the guy off a win. They won't win. I'm just saying, what if, right? Let's get a break. We'll come back and set you up for hour number 2 next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now. and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down? And maybe you haven't been getting the exercise you need. If you want to get back to the man you used to be, but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns, to problems with muscle gain and bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction. And if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Huntsville Men's Clinic, we've treated many men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how low testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 256-368-0333. That's 256-368-0333. Or go to HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com. That's HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
And welcome back. Thom Abraham Show. Chris, I need one of these. Do we have any more of these here, little tutu-chicosies like that? Those little adapter things like that? I wonder if we have any floating around here, because this one...
There should be some on the other side, or you can take one from the other one.
Oh, maybe there's one
I've got one in here. I don't know if there's one in this drawer.
I can keep skipping out.
Steve hides all the good gold ones.
Yeah, the good gold ones are the ones you need. You got to have a good gold one.
Those are really good ones.
There's a different one in this thing every time I come here. I had the one in there that was a double dipper. You know what I mean? It had the two...
There's always something sitting differently there. So
maybe that's in my bag. That might be mine that's in my bag. But this one here is a bad one. It keeps kind of jumping out. I watched the entire game last night. Watched the first half live. Watched the second half after the Junkyard Babe went to sleep. And watched a couple shows with her, or a show and a half with her in between that until she fell asleep. Oh, by the way, tonight, right? So she says to me, she's on the church league volleyball team. Okay?
Nice. That's really cool, yeah.
Church league volleyball team. So she's like, our first game is tomorrow night. She says to me yesterday, right? She goes, my first game is tomorrow night. Is it okay? You got something that you can watch or something like that? I'm just, I don't want you to come to the game. She says, don't come to the game because I'm not really very good. My daughter, my 38-year-old daughter is on the team, and she was a champion volleyball player. A state champion volleyball player.
That's not fair in church league.
And then went on to coach. But she's now 38.
So?
Right? So
she could still probably go out there and smack it a lot harder than some of the people that she's playing against.
She's about 5'9". I don't know if she's got any ups anymore.
Oh, okay. Maybe not the ups. She's 5'9".
Maybe,
yeah, she's the setter then. She's the one that sets it. Yeah.
But my 12-year-old granddaughter is on the team. So my wife is the oldest person on the team, and my granddaughter is the youngest person on the team. So she's like, I don't want you to come. It'll be embarrassing. And I know my wife is pretty good because she's athletic. She's really quite athletic. So I think she's probably pretty decent. But I'm like, you know what, honey? I don't want to stress you at all. You go. You play on the church league softball team tonight. I will watch, the Yankees playoff game. You just go ahead. In fact, maybe afterwards you guys want to go out and have a little ice cream cone or something like that after the church league game. Go ahead. I'll just find, a Yankee playoff game to watch or something, So don't worry about me. I can occupy myself. We'll see how that all works out. All right, coming up next, the voice of the Tennessee Vols, Bob Kessling, as we take a look at the game from a Vols standpoint on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in a Kia. Go Bulldogs!
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart
Alabama.
is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances.
The Zone.
And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. The Associated Press is reporting the NFL is planning to get together and discuss the roughing the passer penalty after two highly controversial calls in Week 5. One against Tom Brady on Sunday. The other, a sack of the Raiders' Derek Carr Monday night in a game the Chiefs pulled out, rallied to beat Las Vegas 30-29. The first Major League Baseball postseason divisional series begin today. The first of the four series, Philadelphia at Atlanta, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, and that'll be followed by Seattle at Houston, 3 p.m. Eastern for the coverage on that one. Don't forget, the entire Major League Baseball postseason can be heard right here on ESPN Radio. Ohio State is a new favorite to win the college football betting playoff at plus 200 by Caesars.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! No look pass inside, but he got to go to play.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon, maybe a slight increase in cloud cover as we head into the evening. Temperatures climbing consistently into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. A couple of scattered showers are going to be possible through Wednesday afternoon. The best opportunity for rain is going to come Wednesday night and then through the earliest hours of Thursday morning. Upper 70s on Wednesday, mid and upper 70s on Thursday. Much cooler as we head into Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to Randolph Raider football all season long.
Does he cross the line? He does! Touchdown, Randolph!
Nice drive. Really well done.
On 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. The service department at Woody Anderson Ford is second to none. And let me just tell you that, whether you have a Ford or not, they can take care of you. They'll do a tremendous job. When you go down there and you see those service lanes and the service department, you realize what kind of pride they take in their own building. And if they're taking pride in their shop like that, that's the kind of pride that they're going to put in taking care of your vehicles. Now, I was running the Woody Anderson Ford F-150 back from South Carolina on Saturday, and I had to listen to that Tennessee LSU game. I was very interested in it, and I was able to find it on the satellite, and there was Bob Kessling doing a game. And, I used to listen to Bob Kessling a lot more when I was in Nashville, and I kind of forgot how good he is. What a great listen to Bob Kessling do a game. And, of course, that one, by the time I got into it, it was 13-0 Tennessee. I stopped and got a cup of coffee, jumped back in the truck. It was 20-0 Tennessee. It was amazing the way Tennessee took care of them. And Kess joins us now with the big game coming up, of course, on Saturday. Bob, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Tom, good to talk to you again.
Well, it was good to listen to you do that game, and it was kind of a strange deal because as explosive as this Tennessee offense was, it was special teams, defense, turnover, everything else that just kind of put LSU in a hole early, and then Tennessee controlled the rest of the game.
Yeah, Tennessee did, and this has been a fun team to watch, and it's been a fun process watching Josh Heupel put this thing together, get these players to buy into his system, and practice hard and prepare well. Tom, you've done a lot of games, and you've been around a lot of teams, and usually a team has one of those clunkers every year where you just can't figure out why were they playing so poorly. Under Josh Heupel, Tennessee has never had one of those games. Their teams have come out every single game, and they've been prepared. They have played well. They've played hard. Even the games last year they lost, if you go back and look at them, they were in the Pittsburgh game in the second half. They were in the Ole Miss game in the fourth quarter. They trailed Alabama by a touchdown going into the fourth quarter in Tuscaloosa. Now, they didn't have enough players in depth to finish those games, and so that has been the rallying point this year to develop depth and get more guys out there. But now they're finishing games. They finished the Pittsburgh game went to overtime, but they finished that game. And then they were able to hold off Florida and win that game. So they're finding ways to win now, which is something they didn't do last year. And now that's another big step in this program. And so now you're undefeated. You got Alabama coming in, and this place is going bananas right now.
Yeah, I imagine that it absolutely is. And it all starts with Hendon Hooker. And I'm not sure how Justin Fuente made that decision at Virginia Tech that this was the guy they were going to let escape out of there. But you wonder how much of it is Hendon Hooker, how much is what Josh Heupel brings to the table, because it seems to be the perfect blend of a coach and a quarterback. And now Hendon Hooker is one of the top 2 or 3 favorites for the Heisman Trophy the way he's played this first half of the season.
Yeah, there's no question, Tom. Well, it's interesting. Hendon Hooker comes here. He was recruited by Jeremy Pruitt from Virginia Tech. And obviously, Tennessee wasn't so sure when they got the new staff in here that Hendon Hooker was the guy. And they went out and got Joe Milton from Michigan. And so they go into spring fall camp. And Joe Milton clearly wins the job. I mean, he beats out Hendon Hooker. And I don't think there's anybody that even debated that. I mean, if you watch the scrimmages or the practices, I mean, Joe Milton is a freak athlete with just an unbelievable arm and could make all these plays throwing the football, but it didn't translate onto the game field. And he missed some open receivers and made some mistakes in his reads, and then he got banged up in the Pitt game, and they put Hendon Hooker in there. And the thing that really, I think, solidified Hooker as a leader on this team is when he didn't win the starting job, he didn't mope around and, wasn't a malcontent, didn't go to Heupel and say, well, I'm going to go in the transfer portal, any of that stuff. He just went to Coach Heupel and says, what do I have to do to get on the field? Tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. And he did. Yeah. And then he has grown and grown and grown in this position. And he's thrown, 240 passes now without an interception. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you figure, maybe sometimes the ball bounces off a receiver's hand or it goes off somebody's face mask or off a tip at the line of scrimmage. But he just doesn't put the ball in harm's way, and he takes care of the football, and that's the reason he's the quarterback. And he's just putting up ridiculous numbers. But it's so fun to watch him, and it's so fun to watch how he runs the game. They go so fast that Hendon's got to get the call. He's got to get him. He's got to look at the defense. Got to get them lined up, and he does all that in 14 seconds. And it's pretty amazing to watch him operate.
Yeah, Bob Kessling with us here talking about Tennessee as they prepare for Alabama on Saturday, and we'll get more into that in a moment. But from the craft standpoint, it's fascinating for me to listen to because we were kind of all trained in play-by-play with football. There's a rhythm to it. We get to take it when they break the huddle, and we can set the formation, and there's two receivers to the right, and we set the backfield and reset the down and distance. There's none of that with this. I'm listening to you do the game, and there's no time to set anything. It's like doing hockey. It's nonstop action. It's from broadcasting. It's it's definitely got to be a shock to the system.
Yeah, it's different, but you still have to try and get the fun. You still got to try and tell the people where the ball is, what down it is. And so you try and get that in, and then suddenly if you can get the formation in, that's the bonus. But they don't waste time, and they go fast. But then you talk about why they go so fast. I'm sure you probably haven't looked at the stats. A lot of people don't. But in the fourth quarter against LSU, they had an 8-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
They held the ball for 8 minutes. And, they huddled up and they did the things and they executed, and which was remarkable because they wanted to run the clock out in the fourth quarter, and they did. So this team's pretty versatile, and they make a lot of different plays. And the one thing that Josh Heupel has done, he's got a bunch of guys that have improved, that have gotten better. And no better example of that than Cedric Tillman. His first 3 years at Tennessee, he caught a total of 8 passes. I mean, he was a non-factor.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly last year he catches 64 for over 1,000 yards, and now he's up there among the best receivers in the country. Well, was that Tillman or was that the Tennessee coaching staff? I tend to believe it was kind of Heupel's offense and the coaching staff that got him to think, you are a good player. Now go out and play like one. And he has. And there are a bunch of other guys that have fallen in that same boat. The fact that they've become better players. Byron Young is suddenly become a monster, and the defensive line. I mean, Tennessee and Alabama, the only two teams in the league that are holding teams under 100 yards rushing per game.
Right.
And this was the Tennessee defensive line last year that a lot of times got shredded and didn't have a lot of depth. Matthew Butler last year, who's now in the NFL, he was playing 80 snaps at a defensive tackle spot. That's unheard of. Guys don't do that. But that's how limited Tennessee was in their depth and what they trusted people to play last year. So I think it's just been and Josh Heupel says all the time that this team has learned how to practice and they've learned how to prepare, and that's the reason that they're so ready to go on Saturday. And there haven't been these dips in performance. They've been so consistent because they're ready to play on Saturday.
Yeah. The numbers sometimes can tell cockeyed stories. I think yesterday we had a guy and was talking about the fact that, Tennessee's doing a great job against the run, but against the pass, they're giving up an awful lot of yards, against the pass. The thing I would counter that with a little bit, there's some garbage time in there, right? I mean, Tennessee has been out in front big time on some people, and they stop running the ball, and they start chucking it all over the place, and the numbers can be very, very deceptive sometimes in terms of when are those yards coming. So I think we got to be a little bit careful thinking that they can't defend the pass at all, and they're great against the run. Well, we don't know because there's only been a couple of times when they bet when it's been a game all the way through.
Yeah, that's right. And factor in Florida, they were coming from behind and they threw the ball every down.
They had to chuck it on.
They threw for 453 yards in that game, but they still lost the game. Pittsburgh threw the ball a lot in the second half and racked up a bunch of yards, but Tennessee won that game. So yeah, there are a couple of things like that. But when it comes down to the point when you got to win games and the game's on the line, Tennessee stopped the run. They stopped the run against LSU. I mean, that was the difference in that game because LSU is a team that's designed to run the ball. Their running backs couldn't get anything done, and it's a lot because Tennessee's improved so much in the defensive line. And Rodney Garner, who is the Tennessee line coach, is one of the best in the business, and he has developed a couple of guys that have suddenly, maybe playing themselves into being NFL draft prospects that last year they could barely get on the field. So that's another case of these guys just getting better and better and better.
All right, Bob Kessling with us here talking Tennessee, Alabama coming up on Saturday, 2:30 Central Time, CBS, of course. And, Bob, this is a well-known streaky series. I think Tennessee had won 10 out of 12 leading into the Nick Saban era. And, of course, Nick Saban has dominated this game for the last 15 years. But there was only one time that these two teams met where they were both ranked, and that was in 2016. Alabama was number 1. Tennessee was number 9. They had one loss on the season at that point in time. It was in Knoxville. Alabama won that one going away. But I remember that game and what it felt like going into that game. I think Alabama was a 2-touchdown favorite going into that. This feels different, doesn't it? I mean, this feels – and I know they've made it 7 points. There's some reputation of all that. To me, it feels like a toss-up, especially depending on who the quarterback is going to be for Alabama. I suspect it will be Bryce Young. But this feels very much in doubt, if you will. This isn't what we have experienced over the last 15 years where Alabama's always a double-digit favorite.
Yeah, I think this team, the Tennessee team, has confidence that they can play with Alabama. And I'm not so sure that's been the case in the past several years, that they were hoping that they could give Alabama a game and hoping that they could stay in the game if they do this. This Tennessee team, I think they believe that they've got some weapons that they can put a lot of pressure on Alabama and they can score. And I think it all goes back to the fact they have supreme confidence in Hendon Hooker. They just believe that he's going to make plays and that he's going to put them in a good spot and he's going to get the ball to the guys that are open. And Brew McCoy has been a big, pleasant surprise for this team. I say big. He's a big wide receiver, and he has stepped up. And Jalen Hyatt is another guy. Last year, Hyatt could barely get on the field. Now, Tennessee had really good receivers last year, and two of those guys that played last year are now in the NFL. But still, Hyatt had a hard time even getting on the field. Well, now he's a star in that slot receiver. Tom, the way that Tennessee plays it, they put two wideouts all the way to the boundary on either side. So you got to spread your whole secondary out to cover those guys, because if you don't, then they're going to throw it to them. And then when you spread your defense out, then basically Jalen Hyatt is one-on-one with a safety. And Hyatt's going to win that battle almost 99% of the time. So they just create these matchup problems, and it's really fun to watch. And the one thing they tell us, and Pat Ryan and I can go and talk to the Tennessee coaches on before the day before the game, and they keep telling us that they're mapping out their strategy and calling plays, but looking 3 or 4 plays ahead. Mm-hmm. So they're setting up plays constantly. And when they get the look that they like, and you get the defense, you keep doing the same play, and the defense adjusts, and then suddenly you get them in a look that you like, and then you throw it over their heads, and it's worked time after time. And it's Pat Ryan, who played quarterback in the NFL for 13 years, he looks at me and says, "How do these guys get so wide open?" And they're running wide open in these other team secondaries. Mm-hmm. And it's because they keep setting up plays, and then finally when they get the look they like, then then they can throw it over your head. And it's worked time after time. It's been pretty amazing. Now, Alabama's a different cat. I mean, this is a talented Alabama team. This will be the best defense that Tennessee has faced. Will Anderson, as we all know, is a home wrecker, and he'll be all over Hendon Hooker. They've got to block him. But I think Alabama's secondary probably will be the best secondary that Tennessee has faced. But last year, if you remember, Tennessee scored a lot of points on Alabama. They were able to get some guys wide. Cedric Tillman had 7 catches for 152 yards last year against Alabama. So Tillman is another guy. You talked about Bryce Young, but Tillman is another guy. He had that ankle procedure that Tua had a couple years ago. And so whether or not he's going to be able to go is still kind of up in the air. They're hoping that he will be able to go, but we'll just see. Those ankle injuries are tough to come back from if you're a wide receiver. But they're hopeful that he'll be able to go this week after missing last week.
Ironically, this could come down to a lot of Henry To'oTo'o against Hendon Hooker, and trying to keep him in the pocket, whether he'll be spying him quite a bit. Somebody is going to be spying him because you talk about a home wrecker. I mean, that's a guy that'll take a broken down play and turn it into an 18-yard gain for Tennessee, so you got to be dangerous there. But you mentioned the wide receivers running open. It's reminiscent for me of the Steve Spurrier Florida Gator years. You look at those Gator receivers back in the day, and it was like, my God, these guys are open by 4 and 5 yards. And it was by design that he was able to do that. And that's what I see. When I look at this offense, I look a lot at the Steve Spurrier Florida fun and gun type offense that he had back in the day.
That's a good comparison. And I remember when I was back in those days, I was doing Jefferson Pilot. And so you had a chance to talk to Coach Spurrier and Danny Warfel and those guys. And literally Florida would set their offense, and Spurrier would look in their secondary and see where their strong safety was or where their free safety was, or if that's the look he wanted, and they just signal the play into Werfel, and they'd throw it in there. So literally it was kind of the same concept. They were looking to see – they were trying to get you, the defense, to go into a certain look, and once they got that look, then they're going to bomb you. And that's what Tennessee's doing, and that's what Steve Spurrier and Werfel did. It was really amazing to watch because they would call the plays basically from the sideline, and of course Tennessee's calling them from upstairs. But still, same concept. Just set your defense up, and then wait for you to make a mistake or for you to miss a line, and then they make you pay.
Third Saturday in October, and it actually is the third Saturday in October. But, Bob, it's not out of the realm of possibility that these teams could see each other on the first Saturday in December. Just kind of peeking ahead a little bit, that Georgia game, regardless of what happens on this Saturday, that Georgia game looms. Kentucky will be, if Will Levis is playing, Kentucky is an issue as well. That they're going to be a tough team. But that game at Georgia is fascinating to me, too, because it almost kind of feels like Tennessee is built for a team like Georgia, because Georgia doesn't seem to be a team that's built to come back from being down at all. And if Tennessee has an opportunity to jump them early with that offense, it feels like Tennessee's going to score against everybody. But I'm not sure that Georgia's offense is built to come back, when you give them long fields and things like that. So you're still kind of, peeking ahead beyond this. And, we're not coaches. Coaches are early, 1 to go. But we can kind of peek ahead a little bit and say, you know what, there's a possibility these teams run into each other again.
Well, there is, and there's the possibility, too, that if you don't take care of business this weekend, then you're in a dogfight to, not lose a couple of more games. This is always one of those games when you lose, when you have such a big buildup, a game like this, if you don't win it, you have a tendency to, and a lot of teams have had this with Alabama, they have a tendency to beat you twice. The game you lose to them, and then it's hard to get back up, emotionally, and then you don't play well in the game the next week or the week after that. So this is one of those games that I think, Tennessee is going to be so geeked up for this game and so prepared, and the fans they'll be going crazy on Saturday, that there'll be so much emotion in this stadium and with this team, and the build-up's going to be so big. You want to make sure, either way it happens, you don't want to get overconfident if you win it, and you don't want to have Alabama beat you twice if you don't finish it. So this is one of those games. I think when you're Josh Heupel building your program, this is one of those ones you hope it's the foundation to elevate your program to even higher heights. But you've got to go out and play well. And Bama is a team under Nick Saban. Traditionally, although they almost did it last week, but usually they don't beat themselves.
Right.
I mean, they had a bunch of turnovers last week, which is very uncharacteristic of Alabama teams. But still, down to the end, even with all the mistakes that Alabama made, all the turnovers, the fumbles, and all those things, Texas A&M still wasn't able to beat them. And so that's what's so impressive about this Alabama team, that they just go out and they're well coached, they play hard, and they have a tendency not to beat themselves, and they'll figure out a way to win the game in the end, like they did at Texas and like they did against Texas A&M. So
yeah, brilliant.
You got to beat them. You got to beat them. You can't. They're not going to play poorly. You can't expect them to have big busts in the secondary and do all those kind of things. You got to go play well.
Brilliant scheduling, too, for Tennessee. I mean, to have UT Martin next week, you talk about, the emotion of this game carrying over to the following week, win or lose. But UT Martin there, it kind of gives them an opportunity to take a breath maybe before they get rolling right into Kentucky and Georgia as well. Bob Kessling has been our guest. Kess, it was great to catch up with you. Great to listen to you last weekend for the LSU game. And, have a great call. And we appreciate you as always.
Always good to talk to you, Tom. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the game Saturday. This is going to be a dandy, I think.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think it is right. He's right about that. And I've been saying this. We have a lot of fun with calling it Hate Week and everything else, but I've been saying it over and over again. It's a better SEC when Tennessee is good. There is no doubt about it. And this is going to be the game of the weekend as far as I'm concerned. And I know Michigan, Penn State's a big deal, but this is the game of the weekend in the country. Bob Kessling, our guest. We'll get a break in here. When we come back, more. We'll get the phone lines open up the rest of the way. You want to react to that, go ahead and do it. It's the Thom Abraham Show. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I have a big head, and you don't have to have the brain the size of mine to know that you can save thousands at University Kia.
Right now, drive home a sporty, new 2022 Kia Forte for only $179 per month. Only at University Kia.
And the Guardians plus 180 at the Yankees at minus 220, the over-under 7. NFL Week 6, Joe Burrow returns to the Superdome where he won a national championship with LSU. The Bengals a 1.5-point favorite at the Saints. Elsewhere, the Falcons a 5.5-point home underdog against the 49ers Sunday afternoon. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Atlanta Braves are National League East champions.
In the air to right field, Ronald Acuna back. Ronald is under it. The Braves have won it again. For the 5th year in a row, the Braves are champions of the National League East.
For the 5th straight season, the Braves are kings of the East, and we're ready to bring you every single moment of the NLDS and the entire 2022 Braves playoff run, all live on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Flow Trampoline Park is your one-stop fun spot for your next birthday party. Whether you're a boy, girl, kid, or adult, Flow has you covered. Party packages allow up to 25 plus guests, so you'll be able to bring all of your friends. And with all the fun competition to be had at Flow, maybe enemies too. Party packages will give you access to 60 minutes of jump time, grip socks for all guests, a private party room, and a party coordinator. Flow is behind South Parkway in Drake, behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
Welcome back. Stan McDonald from the Stanton Law Firm. I had lunch with Lewis just recently and with a client of ours, a mutual client, and great to hear all the good things going on at the Stanton Law Firm.
Thank you, Wes. The Stanton Law Firm, as you know, we've discussed before, we're dirt lawyers. We do a lot of real estate, litigation and closing. And yes, my son Lewis McDonald enjoyed meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of your friends. He is, as you know, he's opened up a commercial closing division. So he's really helping a lot of people who are trying to close, buy, or sell on their commercial property. And you can't be in this community doing business without knowing Wes neighbors.
I don't know about that, but it sure was getting to meet another McDonald and talking a little bit about his grandfather, Coach Dye, and the different things. It was a lot of fun.
Well, your listeners are really going to enjoy meeting Lewis and you in this community. And like I said, at Jacob Title or the Stanton Law Firm, we close business. We close some good commercial closings, residential closings. We appreciate being part of your show.
After a long, hot summer, there's nothing quite like the cool, crisp mornings of fall in Huntsville, Alabama. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's time to get out there. Whether it's hunting, camping, boating, biking, or kayaking, we've got the F-150 to take you there. It's truck month at Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got 2022 F-150s in stock on the lot, ready for your driveway today. And with your good credit, get financing as low as 2.9% for up to 60 months. This offer ends 10/31. Being the best-selling truck in America for 44 years in a row is no small feat. But I promise you, if you come drive an F-150, you'll understand. Woody Anderson Ford has nearly 100 F-150s to choose from and lots of colors and option packages. One of these is right for you. Truck month at Woody Anderson Ford. Exceptional deals on all our trucks, SUVs, and crossovers. And a great selection of Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles. Woody Anderson Ford, corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon, maybe a slight increase in cloud cover as we head into the evening. Temperatures climbing consistently into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. A couple of scattered showers are going to be possible through Wednesday afternoon. The best opportunity for rain is going to come Wednesday night and then through the earliest hours of Thursday morning. Upper 70s on Wednesday, mid and upper 70s on Thursday. Much cooler as we head into Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm waiting for it.
Segment of Thom Abraham Show brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. No matter what or how you got injured, the Orthopedic Center has you covered. You got a hand problem, a wrist problem, they got that covered. You got a problem with your leg, a knee, shoulder, they got that covered as well. Even head injuries, they got that taken care of. Neurological type of stuff there. Back, all that kind of good stuff. They got it all covered. They got specialists in every single part of your body, all right? So when you've been injured, you need TOC. And don't forget, the TOC After Hours Clinic every Friday night after every Friday night of high school football action. Can you believe we are now 3 games to go in the regular season? Am I lying? 3 games to go in the regular season of high school football. Yeah, 3 games to go. Nuts.
Kind of making me sad. I got to watch Grissom beat Albertville on Friday, and I got to talk with Tom Perkins.
I heard your brother's hurt.
Good to see him.
Is that right?
Well, it was good to see Tom Perkins. I was trying to bring up, TFC. I got to see Tom Perkins. It was good to see him. But yeah, no, he's still.
Your brother's out.
He still has an issue with concussions. I'll have to ask him today how he's feeling. And
stop slapping him in the head.
I know. I know.
You give him you cuff him in the head all the time. You see him, hey, bro, how you doing? Bang. Smack him in the head. You give him a concussion.
No, I would never do that to him. That was like when he was younger.
Phone lines are open if you want in. 256-576-4977. Let's go to those lines, and we start with Grumpy. Grumpy, what's going on?
Hey, not much, man. Yeah, we're losing this college season too, man. We only got
halfway through.
Season, aren't we?
Halfway through the season. I mean, it's absolutely nuts.
I need to hit a trifecta, man. You need to do that one that you do where you can hit any 3 of the 4 games and it counts as a point.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming. As I don't ever let the leader get away. Grimm right now has a little lead, but I don't let anybody get away. But how about you? I mean, I know you're such an NFL aficionado. How about you 5-0? Only you and my wife are 5-0 in the Bama-Zac division of the DFL. I mean, you're just running away with this thing.
I know. We can see what's going to happen. Your wife is scoring so many points every game. It's like, just give her a ring now, or give her another ring.
Yeah. We'll have to give her. We have to see if we get like the smaller ring. Maybe they got a women's version of that thing. But you won 148 to 122. I beat my son like a rented mule. 158 to 111 this week. The only person that's beaten me is my wife. So I'm looking forward to that matchup between you two guys, which will happen, in a couple of weeks. Yeah. But you obviously know what you're doing in fantasy.
Well, Crawdad was beating me until Kelsey went crazy. But hey, listen, I wanted to ask you which side of the fence you're on here, because you kind of went into both pastures earlier this week. You had said that you were were a special teams coach. I think once you're a coach, you're always a coach, you know. But you had said that you guys would practice all week, and to quote you would tell the coach, hey, number 2's not doing what he's supposed to be doing over here. Let's run this play. And then the coach would say, kick it.
Yeah, exactly. The special team coaches always have a great onside kick and a great fake punt and a great fake field goal ready to go.
This is my point.
You always have it ready to go, and the coach never lets you do it. Every once in a while they'll let you do it, but you're like, hey, we got one. I'm telling you, it's there. It's there, man.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
So
kick
you know where I'm going with this, don't you?
No. Where are you going?
Well, then you turn around and say that was a terrible call by Harsin when the play was there.
Yeah.
It was there.
Well, it was there, but the timing of it isn't worth the risk. It was there.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
That's when it – totally disagree with you.
Yeah.
Totally disagree with you.
Change the momentum in the game. Totally change. You're playing great defense. Keep punting them back there. You're playing good defense. Maybe they'll turn it over. Why in the hell you give them the ball on your 36-yard line and give them momentum, let them take a breath?
How many points did Auburn give up that game?
42.
There you go.
But the first 7,
keep the ball.
First 7, you know what I mean? You're in a battle, back and forth, You don't give your opponent a life. You don't give them an opportunity. Because they exhaled, and when they scored, I tweeted, the route is on. It's 7-0. I said, the route is on.
Tom, if you're going to make stuff up, throw in some vampires and some dragons. I like vampires and dragons with my stories.
I'm not making anything up. I wouldn't have done it. I think it was a terrible time to do it. It wasn't worth the risk.
No, if you're a special teams coach, I think honestly, I think you would have done it if you
as a special teams coach. Yeah, I want to say, hey, I think it's there, but the head coach has to over. That's what my point was. Is that special teams coaches think that it's always there, but it's up to the coach to have a brain and override the crazy special teams coach that thinks that it's there. It's the coach that has to say, yeah, I know it's there, but it's not there right now. We are going to kick the ball.
I want to say one more thing. I only saw one play this weekend. The rest of them I didn't see. But I did watch a game, and it was one where they called roughing, and it was, I guess, the Kansas City game. Now, this is my thought on that. Now, I remember the very first time I went and I took boxing lessons when I was like 13 years old.
Right.
And I could throw the punches and everything, and after a while the guy stopped me and he said, look, where are you trying to get your fist? And I said, man, I'm punching him in the face.
Yeah.
He said, you don't punch him in the face, you punch him in the back of the skull. You try to get your hand to go to the back of their skull. And that kind of tackling has to stop in the NFL when it comes to the quarterback. Your body has to be to either the left side or the right side. You can't drive through the quarterback anymore. Nobody likes it, but that's what's coming, and that's all they want. So where's your body when you drop on them and your body weight goes on them? And I heard you and Luganville go on about, you can't control your body.
No, you can't levitate. Look at that one there. He actually strips the guy of the ball, the one last night. He strips him of the ball, and then he puts his other hand down to control his body weight and roll off the guy.
Man, dragons and vampires.
Look at it.
He pulled his left hand out so it wouldn't be under the quarterback when he pushed him when he fell on it.
Yeah, but his other hand was down. He put down. Look, man, that's a football play. Come on, that's a football.
It is a football. It is a football play.
Got to let football be football.
And it's a football play that's not going to be accepted anymore.
Well, then it's not football. It's a football play.
To quote Luganville, it's a quarterback-driven league.
Did you see the one against the Falcons? Against Tom Brady?
Nah, I didn't see that.
Go look at that one. I mean, that's unbelievable. That one is just an easy tackle. He just actually wraps his arm around his waist. He kind of rolls, and he just kind of throws him away. It was just an easy, normal, rolling rugby-style tackle on Tom Brady, and they called it, and it was like, what are you calling? I mean, there's nothing to do.
I'll look at it. But these new athletes coming up, okay, the ones coming up through college right now, they're going to teach them to tackle the quarterback from the side. Because we were taught to drive through the quarterback.
Right.
Literally drive through him. Well, that's not going to do that anymore.
Let me tell you something. In 1996, right, it was each assistant coach's job, position coach's job was to write his group's playbook, okay, for their position group. And I was a special teams coordinator, but I also had the defensive line at that time. And on the front page of the D-line playbook, I quoted Al Davis, and it said, the quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
Yeah.
That was football in 1996. I mean, that was part of our game plan.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's a thing of the past, brother. All right, man. Have a good one.
Let me just expand on that, too, before I go back to the lines. Somebody tweeted something about if you're Tennessee, you got to go after Bryce Young and you got to try and hammer him and get him out of the game. All right, you know where the injury is. And they said somebody from an Alabama site said this is despicable or this is disgusting or something along those lines. This is disgusting, that they're trying to hurt the quarterback and everything. Let me just say this about that. There's a reason why, especially in college football, they try to be so vague about the injuries and try not to say exactly where the injury is. But I'm going to tell you this. There is zero doubt that in every pre-scouting, every film that you look at, every individual that you look at of your opponent, if somebody went out with an injury, some sort of an injury, you're doing everything in your power to know what is the injured portion of their body, and you will let the players know that will be playing against that particular player that he has a sore left knee, or he has a bad right ankle, or that his shoulder is hurting him. You let your guys... What do you think? You're going to go out there and not hit the guy on the shoulder because he's got a hurt shoulder?
Yeah.
And you're going to say, no. Listen, hey, I know his right shoulder is hurting, so we're not going to hit him on his right shoulder. Let me tell you right now, not only do they know that the right shoulder is injured, if they got a chance to hit him on the right shoulder, they're going to hit him on the right shoulder. Not cheap, just a regular hit.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. I mean, there are too many people who are commenting about football that not only have never moistened a jock, but have never strapped on a helmet or shoulder pads. And they don't understand the level of violence that is involved in this game. We love the game. It is a violent game. It is inherently a violent, tough guy game that they don't play anywhere else in the world except for in the United States. It's a uniquely U.S. game. And I love Australian rules football and rugby, that those guys are tough guys too. You know what I mean? They're out there. They're doing their thing. But for people to think that you can make something that is inherently violent and dangerous somehow super safe, forget about it. And if you think that targeting an injured part of an opponent's body when he decides that he's healthy enough to play, if you think that that's despicable or disgusting, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, literally the referee came out from the Bucs game and said that he honestly felt like that he unnecessarily threw Tom Brady to the ground.
Flung him, yeah.
Yeah, and then what happened last night, if you watched in the game, what happened to Patrick Mahomes? He got
flung
stood up.
to the ground.
No, he got stood up. He got stood up, and they blew the whistle immediately. They called it dead because he got sacked and he couldn't
But he was
move.
going backwards. He couldn't move.
Right,
Yeah.
and they called it immediately, but he never went to the ground. He just had him. You know what I mean? And so
well, that was okay. I mean, that's, once they're struggling.
what's the quick call when he's in the pocket and you're trying to sack him? I mean,
but
you know what
if you got him and you're driving him backwards, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Now, what I did see also was there was another one where a guy grabbed Mahomes and flung him to the ground exactly the same way that Brady got flung to the ground.
Was he out of the pocket? Because
no, and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
They didn't call it. He was
Yeah.
right in the pocket. The guy grabbed him around the way, and Troy Aikman said, "Wow."
Did you hear what he said too? I'm surprised he didn't get called out for it. He said we need to start taking the dresses off. You didn't hear that?
No, I missed
you didn't
that.
Hear
I must
that?
have missed that one.
He said we need to go back and listen to it. He says
I wanted him
he
to
says
say,
take the dresses off, and people said, "Oh, he's going to be apologizing."
I wanted Troy Aikman to say, if these rules were in place when I played, I'd still be playing. Because Troy Aikman, he took more abuse. I mean,
Exactly.
he got helmet to the chin strap, I mean, on a regular basis. But I mean, look, it's always been the way to get. I played a game my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
And I knew based on the padding that the nose tackle, I was the center, and the nose tackle I was playing against, he had a wrap on his elbow, on his left elbow, I believe it was. And it was all wrapped up and bandaged up. And there was a play where I had, where I was blocking down and he was moving sideways on a slant. And that thing was right there in front of me. I mean, that elbow was right there. And I made a clean, legal face mask onto his arm, fit arch block into that guy and knocked him out of the game. And what am I supposed to do? Oh, I'm sorry. That's your bad arm?
Oh.
Let me block you on the other arm. No.
I took a shot on a kid who had a torn ACL, or he had previously torn his ACL, and he was repaired, and he had a bandage on just like me because I partially tore my MCL. And I pulled his leg in, and I heard pop. And my coach is like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed? I'm not supposed to stop."
As long as it's not a cheap shot.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But I'm saying, it's
not
like, what am I supposed to do if he's, flailing on the ground because I just re-tore his ACL basically, and and it's like, yeah, you want to go through the move and you want to pin the kid, but it's like, where's the level of I'm like. He's like, get back on him, and I'm like, hey, I think I just hurt him, And
he was yelling at you because you got off him?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying he yelled at you because
he yelled at me because I got off of him. Because he
no.
was hurt. I mean, he was hurt. I mean, I took him down, and he started
screaming.
Oh yeah, and it was like,
what year? What age?
This was my senior year because I took a shot at him. I had a bandage on. I had a thing around my knee. He had a thing around his knee.
You got to pin him until the referee.
I know, but they called
you.
the match. They called the match because he was hurt. He couldn't get back up. Like he could not
forfeit
stand
win
up.
or
Forfeit win.
No score.
Forfeit win because he couldn't get back up.
Well, and I think you have to stay with them until the referee taps you on the shoulder and says, "Get off him." I don't think you can just. I think you probably should have stayed.
Just pinned him and embarrassed him. I mean,
well, no.
I've seen kids get knocked out. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen kids get thrown on their head, get knocked out in wrestling, get pinned, get back up, and act like they're going. I mean, this is on video. Act like they're going to wrestle again. Okay. But they're shaking hands and they're telling them to go away, and we've seen it, and
you'd have to be 100% sure.
They're sitting there flailing around and they're getting pinned.
You'd have to be 100% sure.
I understand that,
that he was hurt.
But I mean, when you're sitting there and you're watching it, and you're watching somebody go absolutely nutso after they got dropped on their head.
Yeah. I'm gonna get Philip in here. Philip, welcome to the show. How are you?
Irritated.
About?
So, okay. You're the messiah of sports talk radio.
Are or were? I used to be. Not anymore. Not anymore.
You did not proclaim yourself the Messiah of Sports Talk Radio.
I did not. No.
Someone else did.
Yes.
I am sick and freaking tired of hearing about the NFL and how they are the show in town. With all this crap going on, are you freaking kidding me? I don't even know why. If it ain't got a blue star on it, I ain't watching it.
Hey,
It's
18 million people watched last night. I mean, the ratings are up. There's more people than ever. That game in Europe on Sunday morning when everybody was in church, 5.5 million people by 55%, the most ever London game TV viewership. I'm like you. I'm frustrated with what I'm looking at, but more people are watching it than ever.
Trash.
More people than ever.
Absolute trash. It's a freaking soap opera. I've been harping on women need to get the hell out of sports. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm tired of this wussification bullcrap. We got a commissioner of the NFL who's not stepped up to the podium yet and suspended Devontae Adams at least 2 games for what he did last night. No, we're just going to let people sit around and talk about it. What a bunch of crap.
No, he'll get busted for that. He'll get busted for that.
You're going to have a damn hissy fit about a quarterback hitting the ground, but some jackass thug slammed some poor innocent dude who's trying to earn a freaking paycheck to the ground, and that's okay?
It's not okay. He'll get suspended for it. You watch.
Why hasn't he been yet?
Well, you gotta. There's a process. There's a union. They got a union.
Football have to look at that and make a determination.
There's a little bit of a process involved. You got to give it a minute. But don't worry, he'll get clipped for that good. And by the way, for those of you that don't know what he's talking about, Devontae Adams was coming off the field, and it was a photographer just standing there as Devontae Adams was going to the locker room after the game last night, and he gives him a two-handed jack. I mean, he just jacked the guy up, knocked him on the ground, and it was ugly. But it was, and then he apologized. He did apologize, but he's gonna get clipped pretty good for that.
Okay. So the dude last night who sacked the freaking quarterback legitimately, my God, what are we doing? Can he not just stand up and go, I'm sorry?
No.
And then it's okay?
Nah.
And you got this has been going on for years and years and years and years. That moronic referee that threw that flag has no accountability. I'm sick and tired of hearing about, they're accountable and they're judged and da-da-da-da. That's bullcrap. It's absolute bullcrap. It's disgusting to watch.
And yet,
today, kids play flag football.
And yet today, about 2.5 million people will watch the baseball playoffs, and 19 million people watch that game last night. It's just the way of the world right now. I mean, it's say what you want, it's nuts. I mean, but you watch, there'll be 2 or 3 million people watching baseball, and there's 8 times that many watching. 7 times that many watching the NFL. It's just is what it is.
You might be talking about one individual game today. There are 4 games today in Major League Baseball, and I guarantee you the viewership will eclipse what the NFL does.
No.
The NFL has a great package. I mean, they get Sundays. It's Sundays, baseball's every day. I get that. But that argument is just falling.
I know, but it's a reality
compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, and yet more people are watching it than ever. I don't understand it either, but it's annoying. All right, thanks for the call.
Can't fix stupid.
All right, thanks for the call. Can't fix stupid. How about them Cowboys?
Emma, who was that last?
What did he say?
And saying, is it snowing in Alabama? We got that many snowflakes in Alabama?
No, we don't.
Are you kidding me?
No, we want real football here. It's not snowing in Alabama. All right, hey, tell me how about them Cowboys so I can let you go.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Let's get a break. We'll come back and wrap it up next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes. I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
If you or a loved one is suffering with mental health issues, call Integrated Behavioral Health. IBH's highly skilled team of trained psychiatrists and therapists can help you through the most difficult times of your life. IBH is now open in Madison and Decatur, and we are welcoming new patients. Don't let the stress of mental health issues drag you down. Call 855-422-1618. Integrated Behavioral Health. We can help. Call 855-422-1618.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. Final few minutes of the Thom Abraham Show. So we haven't heard anything from Troy Aikman yet regarding having to respond. Now, tomorrow we get to talk to David Moulton, who was standing next to Troy Aikman when he made that comment. So, it'll be
nice,
interesting.
Refreshing, yeah,
it'll be interesting to see from behind the scenes, did somebody say anything to him or whatever. I don't know how I missed it, Because I watched this whole.
It was after I'm pretty sure it was after the roughing the passer call.
Okay,
yeah.
that roughing the passer call. Okay, so that's when it happened right then. He said, "I hope we take the dresses off." That's all he said.
That's why I was like, oh. When they went to break right after that, I was like, oh.
So the snowflakes are going nuts. Don't love Aikman saying the players need to take the dresses off. Just say that the call sucks, man. Another guy saying, Troy Aikman can't be saying crap like it's time to take the dresses off. Another guy said, NFL officiating is trash and always will be, but Troy Aikman using any opportunity he can to be misogynist.
Misogynist.
I hope we can take the dresses off in reference to the game being called should be the headline. That should be the headline? Rachel says, Troy Aikman could get bent for his take the dresses off comment during Monday Night Football. Are you freaking kidding me? NFL will be anxiously awaiting your BS apology statement. That was some crap. Gross. Another one said, listen, terrible call, soft as hell, but can Troy Aikman do away with the 90s talk of taking dresses off? Just say what you mean and don't insult people to do it. It isn't hard. Well, he did say what he meant. He meant just take the dresses off. By the way, that's what I heard a comment like that about Terry Bradshaw and Joe Turkey Jones back in the late 70s, early 80s, something like that, about a game like that where, no, it was Jack Lambert who said, why don't we just put tutus on the quarterbacks? Jack Lambert said, why don't we just put tutus on the quarterbacks? Did Troy Aikman say he hopes the competition committee lets the players take the dresses off? That's problematic. Half of these comments are from men, too. Oh, stop. Will you? Can we just stop being offended by everything? Stop it. Braves, Phillies, NLDS Game 1 is next. Right here on 97.7 ESPN.
Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.